Well, continuing our look at the situation with FlyBe and particularly the relevance to the Isle of Man, Brian Kelly from Manic Travel is joining us. Mr. Kelly, it's clearly a situation that's fluid. It's moving by the minute. The UK government is now saying they are stepping in. How much of an importance is it to have FlyBe, first of all, for Isle of Man connections?
Well, I think FlyBe is a vital connection for the Isle of Man, certainly the Crown dependencies, and certainly regional airports around the UK, connecting still into Gatwick and still into Heathrow. If we look back at the history, Paul, what we have now as FlyBe really was Jersey European, and before that I think it might have even been Air UK. So this is a very, very old, established and very important regional carrier for the whole of the UK and Scotland, including Scotland, obviously. So losing it would be catastrophic for the island. I'm not too sure that we have a very clear plan A from an aviation point of view on the island, let alone a contingency plan B. So when airlines go, they tend to go overnight. So we would have nothing the following day. So we're very, very thankful that the UK government has stepped in and put a package together, and we'll look at the APD taxes in the March budget. And we hope that we can have a very secure regional carrier in what will be Virgin Connect moving forward for the rest of 2020 and beyond.
Do you have an opinion about the airport duty? I mean, there's £13. It's an easy tax, isn't it, for governments? And of course, the Isle of Man government takes their version of that when people leave the Isle of Man.
No, and the problem is, Paul, is that when you look at the numbers are huge, and FlyBe carry 8 million people, and at £13 a time, it's £110 million a year. And that's a huge amount of money for an airline to be collecting for and paying over to a government at a time when they're really struggling as an airline. So perhaps a deal where that is reduced by 50%, and FlyBe can keep 50 million, and that allows them to keep flying and keep investing and supporting these regional airports.
Well, IAG have put a little spanner in the works, and they were bound to almost certainly, weren't they? British Airways, and I think Ryanair and everybody else has dropped in there as well, saying this is unfair. They should be just allowed to go bust as such, and I presume the pickings then can be taken up by other airlines. Your view?
My view is I think, obviously I don't know the full details, Paul, but my view would be that whatever the UK government do will be consistent across all regional carriers, and it will become more a UK regional tax. There are taxes obviously for flying into Europe; they get higher. If you're travelling further afield, they get even more expensive. But I think common sense will prevail, and there'll be a deal done that covers all the airlines. I'm sure Mr. Walsh at IAG will be happy at some stage in the future.
Now, people are going to have concerns, aren't they, because of this situation, which could hold them back from booking with this airline. In itself, could cause more problems. And do you think it's going to happen, or do you think Virgin Connect and all that is the way out of this?
Well, I think all the comment from political comment and business sentiment is that if we didn't have FlyBe, they would have to invent one, because that's how important a regional carrier is to the UK economy. And I think where Thomas Cook were a very different animal, a very different business, FlyBe are important to communities, linking communities together, linking isolated communities to cities, businesses, business to business, family, friends, and relatives. It's just so important to the UK. It's too important to go. So I would say to any traveller, keep on booking. We certainly have no issues. We're confident that things will now work through quite well, and we're really looking forward to the Virgin Connect development over the next few months. We'll see the name FlyBe disappearing, and Virgin Connect will become the UK's largest regional carrier.
Of course, people in the UK have options technically, although maybe Newquay's the one it's different because they do get a grant from the UK government to keep that going. People can take trains, they can do other things. It's different, isn't it, when you're on an island, that this is such a lifeline, I suppose.
Absolutely, and of course, it's not just the business traveller and the leisure traveller. When we look at Jersey, Guernsey, Isle of Man, and certainly certain Scottish islands, the medical connection is so vital to our communities. And FlyBe play a huge part in getting our patients for hospital appointments and hospital treatments in the UK. And if we haven't got a plan B as a contingency plan to cover those sort of situations, and I'm sure the other islands are in the same position as ourselves, then we could find ourselves in a very difficult position.
Well, obviously the UK budget is coming up in March, and Boris has already said he's going to be looking at this tax that gets put on, the £13. And obviously Alf Cannon might be slightly, it's an easy one, isn't it, for the Isle of Man government to collect this tax and to use it, not necessarily at the airport, it's just a tax that goes into the system.
It is, Paul, and I'd be suggesting to Alf that they need to seriously consider the alternative, because at the moment our government has no alternative. There is no plan B, there is no contingency, and FlyBe are a vital link to Isle of Man business, Isle of Man leisure, and certainly Isle of Man medical. So it's quite a small amount of money that we'd be collecting, and certainly not relevant in relation to what we require as an island to keep vital links to UK major cities.
Well, finally, I mean, they bought themselves a sea service, the Isle of Man steam packet. Should the Isle of Man government be running an airline?
I would suggest not. I'm very close to what's happening in Guernsey with Arini, which is government owned, and some of the figures coming out of there are pretty horrific. And the latest losses for Guernsey and Arini are very close to £8 million in 2019. Times that by 10 for 10 years, that's £80 million. And is that a figure that's acceptable to a small island community in retaining its own airline services? I'm not too sure that represents good value. So I certainly wouldn't be recommending the Isle of Man government to go down that particular road just yet.